Open Topics with Armando.
Armando, and this is Open Topics with Armando, the martial arts edition. So you could vibe out to the music and everything like that, and we could just chill.
Us.
How you doing?
Besides the obvious and the usual, I'm okay.
That's good.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
unfortunately, due to
in the
circumstances
city
out of our
on Sunday
control.
for a person.
I was saying, due
Don't
to
matter.
circumstances out of our control,
So
and for the past 2
You know.
days, I've been trying to get in contact with Grandmaster
you know what I mean.
Roberto Santana, and he hasn't been picking up his
Uh-huh.
phone. I went to the corner store where he frequents at. They said they saw him yesterday, but that they haven't seen him today. So he may or may have not left the city, or may not be at the hospital. My prayers go out to him either way. Us, my respect always. Praying for speedy recovery, or praying for any God-given miracle that he needs at this moment. Everything in due time. If between here and next week, we're better off, then between
Yeah.
here and next week, we're better off. If he decides that he feels good on Saturday, we'll kick off with a
Yeah.
special edition, special edition Sabbath karate situation. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out. I know off the
Got
dome,
you.
off the top of
Yeah,
my
shout
mind.
out to Boss Lady Bird right there. She's
Off the top of my mind, I was
one
overly
of my
excited.
supporters.
I apologize, but I didn't even hear you. You said something? Yo. Salute, respects. Like I was saying, something's probably going on with Brothers Mike. I was overly excited tonight with the interview that we're gonna do to San Pedro's champion. But everything in due time, everything in God's time. Like I said, wishing him
Right.
a speedy recovery if he is sick, and just wishing him whatever miracle he might need at the moment. He has the knowledge and the understanding of something that we've been asking each other for a while, because obviously it's not that
Yes.
easy just to get up out of our situation of life and go to DR just to go question and investigate. It's not like, this program is not sponsored. This program is something that we do for you guys to hear, grow, inspire, and keep growing. If this program was something that was sponsored, oh yeah, listen, here, we're gonna give you guys travel expenses to go here and there and find out the secrets of karate around the world, then hey, by all means, we would have been doing that. But it's not that situation. We are happily, merrily putting these things together and piecing the pieces piece by piece. Jigsaw of 1,000 pieces. We're just putting them together piece by piece. How long would it take to finish the jigsaw? We don't know. It's all about the journey. In the meantime, we're going to continue providing content for you guys as far as things that I like to bring up, in-home safety, in-home security, fire safety, personal protection, martial arts, in its entirety. Martial arts is not just a one-line defensive system. There's also a way of discipline. It's a way of respect. It's a great way of, training your children to be respectful and training your children, to be ready. Say if something happens, if someone tries to intrude in the house and everybody's trained, everybody can remain calm, focused, and make the move they need to make and apply. And that's it. That's all it's going to break down to. It really is that simple. But yeah, man. I've been excited since last week, man. I spoke to this man on the phone. This man knows me since I was 8 years old. I'm born and raised in the States, but I was raised in most of the years of my youth. I was raised in the Dominican Republic. So when I went to DR, my cousin was practicing Taekwondo, and I used to practice karate. And at that moment, I say used to, because I remember being in karate and my mom, was fidgety about wanting to go back or whatever.
Hey, back. Yeah, I'm back.
All right, brother, you back. And so whatever. I ended up going to DR. Not the first time, but I ended up going to San Pedro to stay with my grandpa. And out there, like I said, in San Pedro, my cousin was already practicing Taekwondo with Elia right there in El 2 de Julio. So I remember seeing Aponte, who I used to call Aponte Twin, and he was like, "Oh, yo soy el maestro de karate, I'm the karate master or whatnot. Come practice with me." And I told him, "Listen, I would love to practice with you, but I already have a karate master in New York. I can't dishonor him, what I'm saying,
Gotcha.
by training with you, because, it's an honor thing." And he's like, no, I understand perfectly. But, while you're here in the country, if you don't know how long you're going to be here, at least supplement yourself with Taekwondo. That way you have something extra up your sleeve. And I said, that makes sense. So I started taking Taekwondo with my cousin. And it was pretty good. Taekwondo does things very differently from karate per se. But Taekwondo is a form of karate. It's more kicks than punches. So that really helped me a lot. Because when I went back to my old system, that now I can kick like a crazy horse. They were looking at me like, "Wow, you wasn't kicking that much before." I'm like, "Yeah, because y'all were used to just me being a meatball." But I went to DR and I'm back, and now it's kicking season.
Gotcha.
And that's why still to this day, I'm 42 years old. I can kick over my head. Straight kick, side kick. I do that Van Damme kick, like the helicopter kick. I do the tornado kick, the double tornado kick, the 720 kick. I can do all that stuff. And I'm 42 years old, 300 pounds. So what's up?
That's what's up.
Word.
Maybe I'll get there, so
You'll get there, brother. You'll get there.
Yeah. Now I saw the movie once,
Which one?
and it was with Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
So, in your opinion, right? And I'm just saying because certain people, they may not have the same views as you do.
Okay.
So now, when I was watching the movie with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, right? So they had a scene where they went up and they didn't know each other, so they were facing off. I think it was Showdown in Little Tokyo, right?
Okay.
So this guy was saying like, okay, oh, y'all, like you need to go and like you should like the way that you learned, you could have learned as a kid and stuff like that. So they were actually criticizing the way that they learned the martial arts.
Hmm.
So what is your view if somebody was like, okay, like hey, like how long you been like Joe was like how long you been studying the martial arts? Oh, I've been studying with since I was younger. I was like, oh well, you need to work on your technique and all that stuff. What do you think about critiques like that, like amongst martial artists?
I mean,
What's your view about it?
it's like this, brother. Constructive criticism is a must. You know what I'm saying? If someone's giving you constructive criticism and they're telling you, listen, you need to work on your technique, you need to do this and that. If you're someone who's honest with yourself and you understand that that's true, there's no need to get feelings involved and feel some kind of way that the person is telling you something. I mean, listen, I was raised I was raised under the assumption de que el que ama corrige, that he who loves or he who cares corrects. All right. If you, as a martial artist, feel that you can't correct another martial artist because of whatever issue that person may have or may not have, then there's something wrong. There's no harmony. A martial artist is supposed to be a man of harmony, a woman of harmony. If that person, as a student, is doing something out of technique or is doing something that's not per se in ethic flawless, they should understand that someone is going to approach them and that they're doing it out of care and they're doing it out of the love of the art so that the art is perfected, not just, oh, you know how to do it even though you're doing it wrong. No, I want you to do it right so that it's right and you don't have to worry about it later.
Right.
So I take criticism for what it is. You know, if it's explaining to me that there's something that I'm doing wrong, or it's explaining to me something that I need to do better, then I'll gladly accept the criticism and grow from it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Bro. Growing up, I grew up as a martial artist, so it's not just the headmaster of the school that instructs you. There's other instructors there. You know what I'm saying? There's other people there that, you know, are most of the times are giving you classes. They're the people that most of the times are outside, doing, what we call workshops.
Yeah.
They're outside doing martial art workshops. You know what I'm saying? While the headmaster of the school is at the school taking care of school responsibilities.
Right.
Everybody plays a role. It takes a village. Everybody plays a role at the dojo. You don't just become a senior and not start instructing. You don't just become an instructor and, everything works accordingly.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. Now, I know that in certain segments we talk about the way that people train, right? Meaning that in the United States, the training is different than the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So, in your opinion, and since the Dominican Republic is a different culture than the United States, would you say that training in the martial arts in the Dominican Republic is harder than the United States, or
Yeah,
it's equal?
we definitely have spoken about this. Training is not harder, but training is not equal. For the simple fact that Dominican Republic is a place, it's a place of natural order. It's a place of natural discipline. You know, in DR, I would say that they train their students harder than they train in America. America's pretty, uh, 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 pardon my language, even though I'm not one to be cursing or whatever, but America's very per se soft and or washed. You know what I'm saying? Like the system is hardcore, but the person that's heading the system doesn't want it to be hardcore. I get it, and that's cool. But the reason a system is hardcore is not just because of the person training the system. The reason a system is hardcore is because that's the fundamentals of it. And it's going to make that person stronger than what they could ever imagine to be. So why limit the experience of what the journey is into martial arts? For me, for a karateka, you know, for most people, the greatest achievement is to become a black belt, not understanding that there's other belts, you know what I'm saying, or stripes over that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just black belt, you know what I'm saying? There's also second dan, there's third dan, there's fourth, there's fifth. When you become a fifth dan or what we call go dan, once you become a go dan, that's when you're actually considered a master of the art of what you've been doing. You are actually a master of karate. Now, of course, 10th Dan means grandmaster. It could be grandmaster of his own system, or it could be grandmaster of a system where he's been training. But of course, only a 10th degree can promote someone from ninth to 10th. And that's the situation with most schools. Like you have people you have people giving belts and stripes to people that they don't have. If your school has a master that's a fifth degree Don black belt, he can't promote anyone to sixth degree because he's not a sixth degree. Now,
Right.
he's someone that's a fifth degree black belt in a certain system, but he opens his own system. Automatically, when you open up your own system, automatically you are the 10th degree. You are the grandmaster of that system. So that's different. Yeah, you can promote someone to whatever belt you want because that's your system. But you can't. In my case, um, I was raised in Seido Karate. Seido Karate is the son of Kyokushin. Kyokushin is a Masoyama system. All right. So in Kyokushin, oh, not Kyokushin, in Seido. In Seido, I'm what's known as a Shodan. Shodan means first dan black belt. In Kyokushin, I'm considered a black belt as well because I'm a black belt in Seido. But if my teacher, let's per se, if my teacher were only a second dan black belt in Seido, then that's the highest I would be able to go. I can't go any higher. I would have to go to a different school with a teacher that's a higher dan so that I can reach that person's dan. And this
Okay.
goes on and on.
So I'm just saying, would you be able, if you had time and space or whatever, would you actually go and take and try to be a fifth don, or
Oh, I would love that.
hmm,
I would definitely love that. I just need three. I just need three. I just need three more stripes.
hmm, I'll try to help you get it. Now I'm I mean, by that, because I have I guess I do have like an uncanny thing of researching stuff.
Yeah,
So, and I have found uh the Kung Fu Master, and it's just like wow, I even shocked myself. So
yeah, that is crazy how you found Reno,
yeah,
Professor
because what
Professor
because
Gray.
what happened because what happened was I contacted his student in the Dominican Republic. Shout out to Daniel. So I was telling the student in the Dominican Republic, okay, like this is like I run a martial arts segment on my YouTube channel. I told him in Spanish, and I would like to learn about the history of kung fu in the Dominican Republic. So so he went up and he was like, well, my master is the one that knows a lot more stories than I do about how kung fu started in the Dominican Republic. And he said, this is my maestro Reno. So what I did though, I just looked on Facebook and I just typed in Reno Martinez, and
Yeah,
there he was.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Give me 1 second.
all right.
Yeah, because I got one of the boys being a little too loud, and the missus is sleeping because she does night
Yeah.
shift,
Got you.
so it's not very respectful.
Right.
Even though if I was free to criticize on the flip end, when I'm sleeping, there's so much noise in this house. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "What is this? This is really not fair." When she's sleeping, I make sure they quiet, so I don't want to hear about
That's
nothing.
right.
When I'm sleeping, I hear everything because she doesn't like sleep when she's up.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, you're gonna have to do something about that. But yeah, man, can't wait to get this interview done with Aponte, man,
Me
because
too.
he said it himself that it's long overdue. Like they had contacted him. Bless you. They had contacted him for Black Belt Magazine, Latino version, Latino, and he
Wow,
didn't
I
reply.
didn't even know that.
So he didn't reply because he's not old, but he's old enough to know that a lot of things are spam and a lot of things are fake. So he was worried that it was fake, and he didn't even want to participate at all. So the fact that he knows me from my youth is the reason why he's so willing. Like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I was like, oh, cool. So he's like, I don't like doing interviews. Like, I was called for an interview, but I thought it was a scam. And I'm like, oh, there ain't no scam over here. Let's get this done. The knowledge you have is knowledge that we're seeking. Come share that with grace, with what grace you were given. You know,
Yep.
pretty much, man. I told that to Raimundo and Telemundo, and nobody wants to listen.
Right. Oh, I have a question, and maybe and since when you went to the Capitol, right?
Yeah,
Did you ever meet the late great Rafael Corporan?
not face to face. No, seen him across
Oh,
the street,
okay.
never face to face.
Oh, okay.
Rafael Corporan had a big security team, and when he would come out to the street and he would gift away, refrigerators and stoves and all types of stuff, and his security team was so tight. The only way you could get close to him is if you was an old man or an old lady.
Wow.
He wasn't letting no young people get close to him, no women with babies, none of that. Smart,
Wow.
smart. His security
Yeah.
team tight, very tight. The only way you were shaking hands with that man is if you were getting something. If you were getting, if you were one of the people on his list getting a refrigerator or a stove or whatever he was giving out for free.
Right.
And of course, like I said, if you're an old man or lady, you were allowed to pass by, keep walking, and if you wanted to say hi to Mr. Corporal de los Santos, you were allowed to say hi, shake his hand, and all that. He was a very loving man. He loved the people. He was a community man, but he needed to be safe. So his security team would not allow no young people or women and children to get close to him. Only old folks and winners on his list.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I remember Corporal de los Santos was in one of the parques that's right there in okay, en la avenida Duarte de la Capital, Tacederia California and all that stuff, right? All those big places. There's a park there right next to where the bus stop is to go to Barahona, Puerto Plata, San Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
When he went to that park to do something, they made him a podium stadium that was at least 20 feet tall so that nobody could even reach that man.
Wow.
All right. So he's over here on a podium, stadium type, all the way up there, 20 feet. Oh, the only way you were getting up there was by climbing the thing all the way around, and you had to go through his security. And security is not letting you go through. So
Facts.
he was a very protected man, highly respected as well. Rest in peace to Rafael de los Santos. Rest in peace, Freddy Veragoico. Rest in peace, Boruga. Rest in peace, Anthony Rio. Rest in peace, Johnny Ventura. Rest in peace, Roberto, 100%
Mm-hmm.
Roberto. These people were people of history Dominican television. These people were Dominican fathers that were on TV to almost 24/7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These people, their voices were heard by every Dominican out there. So, may their legacy live on.
Us.
Us. Speaking of us, you were talking about Dolph London, and Dolph London is a black belt in karate and Kyokushin.
Yes.
So he's not. I don't know about now. Obviously now el está viejo. He's old, but
Yeah, and recently, he actually said that, that he has cancer, that he's been fighting cancer for a long time now. So prayers up to him.
I'll be right back, brother. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, because one of my boys is playing Fortnite, and he's on the phone with his friend, and his friend's over here barking like a savage chihuahua. Like, bro, bro, like we're not doing that. I looked at him like, yo, how dare you have your friend doing this when you know your mom is sleeping? Oh, you right, you right. He hung up on his friend. I'm like, yeah, like your friend's not gonna call you right back.
Well,
Kids don't think, man. I see that now.
I mean, we can't really be hard because we. I mean, we could talk about generations and everything like that, but we were kids once.
Yeah, I remember I was a kid once, but I also remember there was something called correa, which means belt.
Yep.
So I tried to be on my best behavior because I knew that belt was gonna sing, and it had no
Yep.
problem singing on me.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
For some reason, I was a free concert,
Wow.
and my grandpa's belt was not a regular belt. It was a Pepe belt, so it was the big guy. It was that
Oh
copper.
hell yeah.
That
Oh hell
copper
yeah.
not playing. It had plaques on it. What we call evilla. It had plaques on it. Tenía plaquita. Like
Mm,
those plaques used to hurt. Those metal plaques were crazy.
yeah.
Nah, bro. I didn't want
Yeah.
nothing to do with that Pepe belt.
Mm-mm.
I used to tell my Grandpa, before you even hit me with this thing, tell me what I did wrong because I don't want to get hit again. Shit, word. Before you
Yeah.
even hit me with that thing, tell me what I did wrong. Because I know as soon as you
Right.
hit me, I'm going to be able to think to be able to ask. So let me ask you now before you even hit me with it. What I do
Right.
wrong? This man, bro, my grandpa was one of those guys that if I was in the house for too long, always want to be inside the house. I go to the side, oh, you always want to be on the side of the house, the callejón. I go to the front, oh, you always want to be in the front of the house. I leave, oh, you always want to be in the street. I don't get it, man.
Well, hey, that's to be a host for you. But they know what they were talking about.
Yeah, sure did. Sure did. What do we got here? We got a bendable, flexible ruler. I am going to use this to scratch my back. All right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Any any other questions you might have on the agenda?
Oh yes. All right. Now, as a martial artist,
Mm-hmm.
and when you see martial art movies, in your opinion, which which movie actually envisions and shows the spirit of the martial arts? It could be any film. It could be an American film, a Canadian film, maybe a European film, or maybe a film straight out of Asia.
Most most martial arts films, the choreographers make it their best to make it seem authentic. So it's probably easier to mention the movies that had corny fights as opposed to mentioning which movie was I think was the greater fighting movie because a lot of movies have great fight scenes and then there's movies that just don't make the cut.
All right, so I'm talking. I'm not talking about the movies with the corny moves.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
talking about. I'm talking about as the movie as far as the philosophical aspect of it.
Mm. I mean, if you're gonna go, let's say, if you're leading by the way of the Tao, which is more of the Chinese Buddhist way of how defense works, then a lot of the martial arts movies that came from China, embody that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of rich in culture, form, and stature, as opposed to, let's say, you come back to America and you see that most of these movies, they're just scripted and that's it. Like there's no true feel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, there's this Steven Seagal movie with what's this guy's name? Tommy Lee Jones. I think it's Under Siege, right?
Right.
There was a lot of good fighting scenes, but there was one fighting scene that was the knife fighting scene between Tommy
Hmm.
Lee and him and Seagal, and it was like, I'm like, y'all doing too much, because it was some real hand to hand. Y'all both got your knives pointing down. That's a quick fish hook clothesline and sinker. That's it. It's really close quarter, quick and done. Like they
Hmm.
made the close quarter combat scene look like it was gonna be the last fight of the century. I'm like, why y'all making this fight look so weird? And no close quarter combat fight lasts more than a minute. Literally, like
Yo.
more than 30 seconds. I'm saying these people are doing this close quarter combat fight scene for like 5 minutes. I'm like, nah, bro. It's not that there's no one that's that good. It's just that that doesn't happen. That just doesn't
Mm.
happen. It's not like you're not at a shooting range, or guys are having a gunfight and you're emptying out your magazine and you're reloading a new clip and emptying it out a magazine. It's not that. You're actually here swinging punches. You're blocking, evading. There's a knife in play. Ain't No, close quarter combat is not to last more than 30 seconds to a minute. It takes a lot more energy to do that than to be far away, just sniping somebody.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of
Because
there's a lot of movies that embody full blown martial art culture and or philosophy. There's a lot of them. I'd probably be stuck here all day mentioning them.
right. I mean, the reason why I asked that is because okay, certain people, when we watch like martial art movies or whatsoever, I'm saying the American public, the ones that know that there's good choreography and everything, and then that there's certain people that know that it's bad choreography. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the real martial artists. So my thing is this, right? Like I've seen like for maybe like the past year, right? That there's a guy, there's a guy, right, that actually criticizes Steven Seagal's films,
Yeah,
and it's way funny. So they talk about like
it's funny.
his moves, and everything like that, and then on top of it, they talk about the plot of the movie, which now most of his movies are straight to DVD movies. I do not know why, but to each his own.
I don't think he's had any movies in the past 15, 20 years.
I mean, he hasn't had like famous American movies, but he has had straight to okay, you know how they say straight to DVD movies, right?
Right.
So he actually has those, I guess, to his credit or what have you. And
Okay.
then on top and then on top of it, the movies that he
Yep. Like
and the stuff that
okay, if you
yeah.
were talking, bro, nothing was heard until now.
Okay. I was saying the way that this guy was critiquing the movie of
Hmm.
Steven Seagal was actually amazing. By the way, I mean it was funny, but it was amazing. Meaning that there was certain stuff within the Steven Seagal movies that never really made sense.
Okay.
Like okay, like he had a movie right where he played like he was like a secret agent living in Japan for a whole bunch of years, right? So
Yeah.
this was like so Japan was like his playground. So when Japan was like his playground, right? And while he was playing, and while he was actually playing, like he was the like well, he was just playing that he was just the secret agent and everything. He gets into a relationship with one of the females, and then she happens to pass away. So the way that she passed away, and then he went up and eliminate eliminated the whole the whole people that went up and did that to that were trying to get him, and she got and she got unalive in the process. It's like okay, it was like the way that this guy went up and just critiqued it was actually funny.
Huh. It's one of those, huh?
Yeah,
It's. I mean, listen. I understand Hollywood is all about making make believe seem real. It's all about making pretending actuality. But when you're in Japan and you're pretending to make feudal Japan movies and you're just trying to mix the modern with the old, it just doesn't work too well. If you're not going to keep it
I'm,
traditional, it's not going to work for you.
yeah, but yeah, it was like okay, it was just like okay, it was not like the old Japan where it was samurais and everything like that. It was just like okay, like a modern Japanese movie, and this
Yeah.
guy was supposed to be like under the CIA, but he always lived in Japan. He was raised in Japan. That was Steven Seagal's character, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, though, he was going after the well, every it seems that every martial art movie with a with an American pretext either has these two elements. They either have like the pretext of okay, the old master and everything like that, or an American fighting the Yakuza,
Right.
or or the other pretext is that which I think is cliche in like the 1980s, is that a guy was mysteriously adopted and he was raised in a ninja school. That type of thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
get something different. Like, I understand like you don't want to make money and everything like that, but just change it up a little bit.
For real. And nothing wrong with a little difference, a little pizzazz. Like, I mean, listen, you know what it is? Most traditional ways of how people come around martial arts, it mostly breaks down into those type of stories. You know, a village was raided and they only left the children alive, and here comes an elder that was once a monk, or an elder that was once a master of something, and takes these people under their wing and starts to teach them something, and now here they are, big, grown, and strong, and they got the master under their wing. And oh, here comes the Raiders again. After 20 years, they came to raid the village again. Well, not this time. Now you got 12 kids ready to fight these Raiders that our grandmasters in different systems because old man taught them all types of stuff. There's different
Yeah.
of breaking stuff down, but in traditional modern, not traditional modern, traditional old systems, you know, you were technically either from royal lineage, some type of royalty, that you needed to learn martial arts to protect yourself because not everybody that was royalty had bodyguards. Only the king did.
Yeah.
So this is why a lot of abductions used to happen back in the days. A lot of princes used to get kidnapped. Prince and princesses, used to get kidnapped because they didn't walk around with that much protection. They figure that the
Right.
people automatically just love them, accept them, and understand to stay in their lane. Like, oh, look, that's the royal prince. Like, stay in your lane. But nope, things don't ever work that way, do they?
They really don't.
Nope. Respect is something that is earned. It's not just given. So if you want the people to respect your royal lineage, what respect have you given the people for them to respect your lineage? You know, are you the type of king?
Mm.
Are you the type of king that goes amongst the people and you say hi to the people? Are you the type of king that kisses the babies? You know what I'm saying? Are you the type of king that blesses the community? I'm saying not every king is going to be acknowledged. You know what I'm saying if they're not doing what's right for their people are not going to do what's right for their king. It's that simple.
And then on top of it, if you actually look at certain stuff, I'm saying throughout history, it was very rare that the king actually that the king or people of royalty, they actually went up and met with the people because of either internal court politics, royal court politics, or royal emperor politics, or whatever. You know, the political intrigue of it and everything. So it was like for a common person to actually meet with royalty or become royalty. It just I know in Europe it was crazy, but in Asia
It's
you had a
extremely
lot of you had a lot of coups.
it's extremely hard. The difference between those kings of old and now is that to be a king, it didn't mean that you govern a country. It just meant that you were sovereign in the land of where you were at. Saying you had a
Right.
castle, you know what I'm saying? Your castle had knights, you know what I'm saying? Your castle had outer walls, your castle had outer gates. There's people that lived inside your inner gates, inside the inner walls. All these people were your subjects because they lived on your land. Your castle is your home. These people lived on your homeland. You take care of the people will take care of the castle, and they will take care of the king. It's really that simple.
And oh yeah, but then there's like but then you gotta remember, like in those times when we're just talking about Europe, all kings had to be how should I say? I mean, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but most European kings had to be approved by the Pope or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Because
For that
yeah,
time, it was different. It was different for that time. For that time, it wasn't just it was diplomacy through marquee, meaning that someone could become royalty by decree of someone else. Like a king can turn around and authorize someone to be royalty, not through the bloodline, right? As opposed
right,
to back in the days, the only way you were royalty was through the bloodline.
yeah,
Isn't that nice for the Pope to say that? Oh, this person's royalty because I said so. That's cute.
yeah.
If it
The,
was
la-
that,
the, la- the last time the Pope ever did that was to Napoleon.
shit, that was the last time the Catholic Church had that much power. Because right after Napoleon, Martin Luther nailed the 92 Thesis on the Catholic Church door.
Well, actually that was before Napoleon was right after Martin Luther, because I thought that Martin Luther was in the 1500s,
Thank you for
and
the correction. Yes, you're correct. Thank you for the
yeah,
correction. Because I was confused. So yes, thank you for the correction.
yeah,
You are 100% correct. The Lutheran Protestant revolution started in the 1500s.
yeah. And the Inquisition started in the late 1400s. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
Joey's still being loud. Should I tell him to calm it down? So if I have to go over there, I'm gonna yell at him.
Yeah. Um.
Because
Well, just to let everybody know, I'm live on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And shout out to one of my Instagram followers, Montano TV Show,
shout out,
and Drew's Word also, and I am Vicious 88.
shout out.
Yeah. I was gonna do a veteran stream, so happy belated Veterans Day to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Hoorah to
Yeah,
all my veterans, man. Hoorah.
yeah,
And a big hoorah to the sky to all my veterans that have fallen in the name of
yeah,
patriotism, in the name of pride, in the name of their their land, in the name of their family, in the name of leaving the hood to not be poor.
yeah. Shout out to the veterans that I know that they ain't here.
You know, I know in the countryside, people wish to become military to leave their farms and leave the responsibility they have at home of taking care of animals, to go out and do a greater cause. And then once you're on the other side of the field, you notice that the cause is not greater; it's just worse, and just bound to get worse. Every day, every day was full of excitement, but it was also full of anxiety. That's why when you go out to the military and you come back, not everybody comes back the same. You're either broken mentally, broken spiritually, broken mentally, broken physically. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
Those that come back perfectly fine, that's because they were already crazy when they left.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's
never,
why.
I know, I never really actually thought about that because, all right, because I know that there's certain people that that they're military and they might be fourth and fifth generation military.
Okay.
So if you've met people like that, what is like, and then you was in the armed forces too, and you might have met people like that. What is your general assessment of them?
I mean, listen. First things first. When you meet what I would call a rogue agent or a rogue operative, when I say rogue agent, rogue operative, I say this lightly, but technically, anyone that was in service and is out of service now, this is what the government looks at us like. They look at us as rogue agents. They look at us as someone that we train to do what we want them to do, but they're not doing it.
Mm.
Okay, so a lot of us get put on the threat assessment programs, and a lot of us get put on the threat assessment scrutiny. For us, when we bump into other veterans of other branches and stuff, we don't want to get too familiar with them, not because we don't care, only because we're thinking the background of it all. You know, a lot of people want to ask you what your business is in the military, and then next thing you know, you're getting court-martialed because you said something you weren't supposed to say.
Right.
That's where it gets tricky. This is why they require you to hold a mind concept so strong that you not talk to yourself, that you talk about yourself in third person, not because you're irrelevant, but because to them their situation or whatever they're trying to do is more relevant than what you are or who you are.
Okay.
So there's always a lot going on when it comes to that.
Mm. Interesting.
Facts of life. I remember being a corporal in the Corps, and we were on a Navy boat, and some lieutenant came out of nowhere like, "Oh, we got the Marines here. Oh, it looks like they're gonna mop our poop deck, whatever." And I'm normally not the one to complain or be insubordinate, but bro, we're Marines. Like, you're not gonna come and tell the Marines that are about to jump off this damn boat to go kill some people that we're gonna start mopping your stupid poop deck, bro. That we're mopping the floors of the ship. We're not doing that.
Mm-mm.
So what I did was I pulled to their pride. You know, what is the pride of the Navy? The pride of the Navy is their ships. So I asked in a general assembly, you know, whose boat is this? And everybody in the Navy that was there with pride, Navy's boat, right? And I
Right.
asked, whose boat is this? The Navy's boat. And I asked one last time just to confirm. Once again, whose boat is this? The Navy's boat. I said, so let the Navy mop their poop deck. Marines don't own boats. That's why we don't mop poop decks.
All right. A quick question. Now, I've always heard this, and I don't know if it's true or not. I've always heard that between the armed forces, right? That it's just basically the army and the navy, right? And everything else was like, and everything else might be a splinter of that. So, is
Yes,
that true or not? Okay,
that is true.
because I
Technic-
remember I was talking. Oh, okay,
technically, there's only a triangle. There's only a triforce. That's
all right,
land, air, and sea. Okay, we have the Air
right,
Force, the Navy, and you have the National Guard. Right? That's the triangle. Now,
all right,
what happens is the Navy has four separate departments. One of the departments of the Navy is the United States Marine Corps. We are a department of the Navy, even though we were out before the Navy was out. I'm, I
yeah.
don't I don't
So,
I don't have jurisdiction on that. I can't talk about that. But
all right,
we are a department of the Navy. The
all
Coast
right,
Guard is a department of the Navy. All right.
mm,
There's another water rescue and stuff like that. That's also part of the Navy.
all right,
The Air Force only does pilots. That's all they do. They don't do nothing else.
all
That's their
right.
job. They do air, and if they're on a ship, it's because their planes on the ship, and that's it. Okay?
Right.
Then you have the National Guard. The National Guard is the Army, is the National Guard themselves, and rescue rangers. You know what I'm saying? So the Army or National Guard, their job is to stay on land. You know, they stay here and they protect the land. All right, they're not supposed to
Right.
be. You're not supposed to send the army out to do anything. The army's supposed to stay here just in case if someone tries to come this way, you know, they can fight back. The only people
All
who are
right.
supposed to be shipped out is the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force. We're shipped out to go take care of business and come back. You know what I'm saying
All
the
right.
Army is not supposed to be going out to do squat. But since they started doing that and deploying the army to go out on wars, you know, they came out with their own branches of specialties, and some people are or special ordnance specialists, demolition, construction, fuelers, artillery specialists. Um, there's many types of specialists.
All right.
At the end of the day, all these branches work as one. Because when these bosses come together, whoever the generals are, they come together at the Pentagon and they talk like colleagues. There's no separation of what the forces are. That's why it's called the forces. You know, it's not just called the force. It's forces, meaning it can go any way for you. You know, some branches, like I said, they specialize in one thing. The only branch that specializes in doing all three things, land, air, and sea, is the Marine Corps. Marines have pilots, Marines have boats, Marines have um, jungle warfare, urban warfare, desert warfare, and winter warfare. We know all about land, air, and sea. We fight anywhere and we will do what we got to do, period.
Mm. Because the reason why I asked that is because when I was talking to an acquaintance of mine, right? And this is when I was working, I think, I'm trying to think where I was working. Oh, yeah, I was working at a window place. So me and the acquaintance and the job acquaintance, we were talking. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to the Navy." I was like, "Okay." And then 2 years after that, I'm going to the Marines. I was like, "Hold up, you can do that?" Yeah, yeah. I was like, hmm, didn't know. And then he was the one that told me that we're the extension of that. I was like, did not even know. Hmm.
What's the extension of what?
He was saying that the United. He told me. Well, he wanted to said it like the Marines is an extension of the Navy. Just what he said, but they're like the same thing. I was like, I
I
didn't know
mean,
that.
he's technically right. He's
Yeah.
technically. I mean, listen, our official flag says um, Department of the Navy, United States Marine Corps, or does it say? It says the United States Marine Corps, Department of the Navy. All right, that's what our
Right.
official flag says. You know, we have other flags. We have modern flags saying "Oh, Semper Fidelis," "Don't Threat on Me," um, "Kill them all, let God sort them out." Um,
Um.
listen, we have a bunch of flags, but our official flag says United States Marine Corps, Department of the Navy. Um, even though the only people in the Navy that train as hard as Marines is any Navy system that's in under SOCOM, which is Special Operations Command, or any Navy system operating under SEALs. You know, SEAL Force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10, however many number of SEALs they have going on. Um, those people are highly trained, and most of them are trained to do, like I said, special operations command, which is more than just sitting around on a boat waiting to be told to mop somebody's poop deck. Like I don't think so.
Right.
You need to. I've seen videos of Navy SEALs getting confronted by cops, and they're like literally smiling at these cops with all these tasers in their hand. They're like, "What do you expect those little things to do to me? Those things don't do nothing. I eat those for breakfast." I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
Wow.
And they don't even get a chance to get close. Like the U.S. Marshals come, U.S. Marshal Service, the Marshal Service pull up and they be like, "Hey, officers, stand down. Yeah, that man is a Navy SEAL. Stay away from him, as far as away from him as you can. If that man puts a hand on you, you're dead."
Yeah, it was like I seen one clip when it was and this was a Marine. He went up and he faced the NYPD and they didn't do nothing to him. I was like, wow. But then again, there was sorry to say, there was a person in the military who got unalived by the NYPD.
The difference is the difference is political power, brother. Political power. When you have the power of the people with you, you're gonna be protected. If you do not have power of the people, you will not be protected. The guy that stood in front of the cops was that time during COVID. All right. And he was saying that they should be embarrassed on the way how they're trying to use lethal force against unarmed civilians, telling them to back away or do this or do that, and they can't just be verbal about it. They're being physical. He was on camera, he was on the news, he was on TV, social media. That is power to the people. The people are protecting this person now because they have him on live TV. If they would have done something to him, the Marine Corps would have rained pain on the NYPD so bad, it would have been bad. That's all I'm gonna say. It would have been bad.
I could imagine.
Oh yeah, you'll be surprised how many precinct captains and precinct lieutenants are former Marines and former military. You know what I'm saying? I remember I got arrested one time that an officer pulled me over, and I pulled out my military badge and I said, I'm a Marine. He's like, "Oh, all these vagina Marines," and I'm like, "Excuse me?"
What? Yo,
Yo,
what?
I was livid. I opened the door like, "Do me a favor, put your belt away and take your badge and gun off. I'm about to show you how vagina Marines are right now."
You really said that, Dad?
Bro, he made my day. He turned on my Wi-Fi when he said that. He turned on my Wi-Fi when he said that. And his partner told him don't do it. I guess his partner knew. His partner said don't do it. He said he's a Marine. Don't do it. Don't try it. He ain't a Marine. He's just a fat guy. I want you to think that I'm just a fat guy. Once you find out that the fat is just a mask, the fat don't stop me from doing nothing. All my moves work perfectly. And if I execute a body slam on you with my weight, the momentum of that body slam is just going to be even worse on the person getting the impact.
Mm.
So the guy didn't listen to his partner. He put his belt down,
And,
put his badge down.
and he up around and found out.
He came rushing at me with a straight punch. Bro, he didn't rush at me and then threw a punch. He had his fist out, and he was running towards me with his fist out.
Mm.
He set himself up for the okie doke.
Pretty much.
I said, "Oh, thank you, thank you." I grabbed him by the wrist, grabbed him by his shoulder, and gave him the only Tayatoshi slam he ever had in his whole life.
Mm.
Then the other guy said, "Oh, stop right there, or you're gonna get tased." I'm like, "It's whatever, man."
Mm.
At this point, it's whatever. I already slammed one of y'all. Am I going to slam you too? Because you're going to tase me. I'm not going to feel it. If anything, I'm going to end up biting you because now my teeth are chattering.
Mm.
And he thought about it, and he called for backup.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am surrounded by like some 20 police, and I'm just like, yo, it's okay, guys. I'm not going to do nothing else. It's not like any of y'all are calling me what he was calling me. To my, I'm not going to say luck because I don't believe in luck. To my benevolence, I get to the precinct, and it was one of those precincts, and it's the precinct that's on 128th Street and Amsterdam Avenue.
Oh, I think I know where that's at.
Right? There's a park there and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That precinct has a captain, not just a lieutenant. Most precincts don't have a captain. They just have a lieutenant. That precinct had a captain. That captain was a Marine.
Wow.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Because guess what? When he found out I was in there and he heard the story of the rumor of what they were talking about, he called me to his office, and I was able to sit down, cuffs off, have a coffee. You know what I'm saying? I was able to eat a butter roll, have some chips. And I explained to the man what exactly happened. They didn't send me to central booking. They didn't send me nowhere. They sent me home.
Wow.
He sent me home. He said that there's no way that someone from his house, because that's how they look at it. A precinct is a house for agents. So he was like, "There's no way that someone from my house, knowing that I'm a Marine, told you, being a Marine, that you're vagina. There's
Right.
no." So he called the two guys. He called the two guys. You know, the guy was roughed up. You know, that one slam was good enough. I roughed him up.
Right.
He was roughed up. He was holding his neck. He was sore. He was telling the captain that he was sore. The captain was like, "Listen, I'm asking you a simple question. Did you or did you not say that this Marine was vagina?" "Oh, I did say it, but I thought he was a fake. I thought he was posing. I thought he was a fake." And the captain said, I see where this is going. I'm gonna take it from here. Desk sergeant, yeah, have De La Rosa dispatched to his house." Just like that.
Yeah.
I walked right out of that captain's office. I saluted the man. I hit that about face, that 180. Walked to the desk sergeant. He gave me all my property and my stuff and said I was free to go. I said, "Thank you, gentlemen. I am out of here."
Yeah. That's just up.
Yeah, that was one time. There was a time that I did get sent to central booking, but the cops that I had fought with, there was two cops. The cops I fought with, they weren't there. They were at the hospital, so they couldn't defend themselves. I told the
Right.
judge, "Hey, they got beat up because they said I was a fake Marine and that they were Al Qaeda, and I blacked out."
Right.
You don't tell a Marine that you work for Al Qaeda, bro. You don't do that.
Exactly.
It's funny, but it's not funny. I had just came home from Afghanistan. You're gonna turn around and tell me that you work for Al Qaeda?
Dang.
You bugging, bro. Like, yo, I slammed this guy like 3 times. Like German suplex style, like the 3 amigos. 1, 2, 3. Other guy tried to pull out a gun on me. I threw that. I smacked the gun out his hand like a half a block away. He just looked at me.
Wow.
Like, Yeah, because he wasn't waiting for that. I hit him with a backhand, with the back of my
Mm.
hand towards his hand, and that smacked the gun out of his hand like a whole half a block away. Then he tried to throw a punch at me, and I just did those maneuvers that I know how to do. Obviously, I
Wow.
stopped because a lot more pulled up. Like, I got
Right.
on the ground and everything. I got on the ground and everything. I said, "Listen, I'm on the ground. All right, just to make sure that whoever's putting cuffs on me is a Marine. Because if you're not a Marine, you're going down." So they made sure that there was 4 officers that were Marines, and they approached me and they said, "Marine, will you comply with directions?" I said, "Y'all my brothers. I'm not gonna ever hurt my brothers. Let's go. What do you want from me?" "Okay, get up." I got up, put my hands behind my back. They cuffed me, and we left. Saying they treated me with respect because I obviously gave them that respect back. But these other
Right.
guys, all they saw was some fat black guy who has a Spanish accent. So they didn't know what to hate on.
Yo, that is the story
Yo, for
behind.
real. David and
Yo,
Goliath, fat, we hate him. He's Spanish, we hate him. He's fat, we hate him.
yo. It was like, I'll tell you a story, right? One day I was handing out. I worked as handing out flyers up on 57th Street, right? So I just came into work. The next thing you know, these cops came up to me. You know, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's just the typical old black guy." So he was like, "So, did you know who went up and stole those phones?" I was like, "I just came here. So if I was the one that did anything, why would I be here?" You know, they're being tough for no reason, right? And while the cops were trying to go around and grill me and everything like that, there was somebody that came from our parents' town. Shout out to Consuelo, by the way.
Shout out to Consuelo, San Pedro en Alta. Brr, 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 brr.
Serie 23.
La
Anyway,
tacita del este. La tacita del oro. Del este.
yep. So anyway,
Sultana, San Pedro.
uh, Serie 23. Now,
Yeah.
when I came up and the guy was talking, me and the guy was speaking Spanish, these cops was looking so confused because they thought that they were actually intimidating somebody that they thought did not know another language. But when me and the guy was speaking Spanish, they was like, "Nah, we ain't messing with it. We ain't messing with him." And I could actually say that's what saved me from the NYPD several times.
Because they didn't want to do no paperwork, not understanding nobody.
Basically,
Yo, listen, being Latino back in the 70s and 80s meant that 80% of the times cops would let you go because they didn't want to deal with you because they didn't want the language barrier. But nowadays, most of these cops are bilingual and they're ready to arrest you.
pretty much.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Yep.
Your boy, Whitaker. You were talking to me about Whitaker that he's a real showboater and all this stuff. I saw a
Yeah.
video with your boy Whitaker recently that he actually fought somebody that was a little too serious for his class, and while he was trying to do the showboating and stuff, he got knocked real hard. He got rocked.
Mm. Mm.
I'm like, yeah, bro, you can't. It's a fight. For you not to take it serious and or take your opponent as a joke, that is not the way of the warrior. You will die in battle.
Exactly.
There's no showboating in it's I get it. it's a psychological game. You're playing mind games with the person, but at the same token, bro, you're playing an unsafe game with your life. You know what I'm saying? It's a battle of the mind. It's a battle of the body. If you get hit in the wrong place because you think that you got this and you're making a quick turn, you get punched in the liver, bro. You're out of here.
Yep.
That fight's done. Fight is over. Party done.
Exactly.
And for those that don't know, yes, punching in the liver technically is illegal in boxing, but there's a way where if you did it and it just happened to be that, but you weren't aiming for that, then they're gonna let it go. And since the person doesn't want to fight anymore, you just won the match. It's that simple.
Mhm.
So this is why they made that liver punch illegal. Because once you get punched in the liver, you really don't want to fight no more. Unless you've been trained to understand the pain and work through it. And even then it's not so easy.
Right.
So yeah, bro.
Yep.
I'm over here sharing the link. Share link. How am I gonna share this link? Share through. I have a better idea. Instead of using my laptop to do that, let me use my phone.
Right.
Pretty much. Okay. Send this to. All right. Hello, hello. All right. So I sent the link to like 5 different people that are mostly people of my immediate circle, either be friends, family, or my community.
Right.
I know my cousin. My cousin said that he wanted me to send him the link of the show for tonight because he wanted to hear the interview.
Right.
But to our anticipation, the interview is probably going to be held next week. So I'll be looking forward to promoting that a little more extensively. And hopefully I get in contact with this man as soon as possible to confirm, first of all, that he's okay, and to confirm, that this is going to get done.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to put too much in speculation because I do find it weird that it's basically been 2 days that he's disappeared. But I don't expect him to have left the premises or whatever just to avoid the interview because it's something that he's been wanting to do. He's just been waiting for the right person to ask. So I'm
Right.
happy. I'm happy that I was able to ask him, and he said yes. I guess he may have stage fright. Who knows? But hopefully, I can get in contact with him, give him some quick in studio training so that he doesn't feel, you know, weird coming onto the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It is 9:38. This lady needs to be woken up. Let me call Selena. on my phone. Let me make sure she's not doing anything. She is not.
Hello?
Alrighty. Back on the scene.
Yep.
Yep. Someone told me that they bumped into Wesley Snipes the other day,
Wow.
and I said, "That man's getting old, man."
I mean, yeah.
Man's getting old. Anybody that we grew up with, is
Yeah, we
now
grew up. Look. Yeah.
anybody we grew up looking at is now technically 30, 40 years older than what they
Yeah.
were. So it's like, oh wow, what happened here?
Maybe age, stress.
Definitely age and stress.
Yeah. But there's only one person that I could say that still looks the same, and that's Halle Berry.
Um, she definitely does. I call that maintenance.
Yeah.
If your maintenance game is all right, then you should be all right.
Yeah.
Yep. 9:41. I know it's probably late to call him, but I'm about to call this man right now
All right.
because you never know.
Basically.
Hey, caller, you're live with Don Armando and Senpai Dominic.
Buenas noches.
Ajá, llegó el hombre. Us.
Tuve problemas porque no pensé que tú me ibas a llamar temprano. Y entonces mi hermana me llamó y me fui y dejé el teléfono aquí. Vine como a las 8:00 de la noche, comí algo y aquí estoy en la habitación.
Ah, bueno.
No, tú tienes que darme un toque a las 9 de la mañana, Darío. Yo pensé que no iba a venir hoy. Y mira, me llamó mi hermano de Santo Domingo, a la hija mía. Y ahí tenía como 3 o 4 llamadas. Me llamó la comadre.
Bueno. Como siempre, primero, Dios te bendiga. Segundo, yo le doy gracias a Dios que usted está bien. Como siempre, yo siempre me preocupo.
No me siento bien.
Tercero, estoy haciendo el programa aún. El hermano mío está aquí. Tenemos 1 hora y 40 minutos ya en el programa.
Es que estoy en el shelter.
Lo que queremos es asegurarnos para el miércoles que viene. Asegurarnos.
No, pero yo puedo ir mañana, cualquier día.
Sí, normalmente lo hacemos los miércoles. Voy a hablar con él. Armando, si es posible, podemos hacer una edición especial para el viernes.
Cualquier día.
Sí. Sí.
Una edición especial para el viernes y el enfoque va a ser San Pedro, artes marciales, Special Edition.
Un poquito de historia.
Sí, ya yo tengo mi cuestionario. tengo mi lista de preguntas que le voy a hacer su respectiva pregunta y vamos a darle al pueblo los detalles que nosotros hemos estado buscando en todo este tiempo.
Ok.
So, gracias por coger el teléfono. Hablaremos mañana. Así.
No, es que no tuve el teléfono arriba.
Está bien, no hay problema, no hay problema. Hablaremos mañana con más detalle, así, ¿tú me entiendes? Así sabemos más qué vamos a hacer.
Está bien, es que estoy aquí en el centro porque decidí meterme aquí a ver si le ayuda el apartamento. Ya me lo ofrecieron.
Ah, bueno.
Sí, porque yo donde vivía la mujer, la señora se murió.
Bueno.
No, yo quiero hacer programa de entrevista. Lo que pasa es que no brego mucho con computadora, nada de eso.
No se preocupe, yo lo voy a ayudar con todo eso. Mi hermano, si te quieren euros, te saben, mi mayor respeto siempre. Os.
No olvides.
Maestro.
No se pudo hoy.
No hay problema. Hay más días que lo organizan, decimos por ahí.
Bueno, así decía mi mamá, que era su Ana.
Bueno.
Un saludo entonces a tu hermana, bendiciones, gracias por su deseo y para adelante.
Amén.
Amén. Amén. Yeah. I can't wait until Friday.
All right, so we got ourselves an interview for Friday.
Exactly. I'll make the link tonight, and then I'll give it to you on after we're done with the show and everything like that.
Yeah, that way
So
I can show him how to log in with it, so that he's comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I apologize. The coughing in the background is wife.
I understand.
Well,
I hear you.
yeah, man. So that answers my question. He had left his phone somewhere and forget about it.
I mean, it happens.
All right. I'm excited again.
Yep.
I'm pumped.
Yep.
I'm gonna print out the questions, and I'm not gonna per se put them in order and print it. I'm gonna just print out all the questions on one page, and then I'm gonna put a number next to each one to specify in what order I'm gonna ask the questions. Because obviously, I'm not gonna ask a question of, "Oh, in what year did you start karate?" as the 8th question, because that's gonna look weird.
Exactly.
Like, all right, so now that you've reached your first black belt, in what year did you start? What?
Nah.
What you doing?
Nah.
Hey, tell me your.
Yeah,
Tell me how you.
That'll be a big fall apart.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, let's start with when you stopped practicing, and then end with how you started.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. Everything in a systematic order. You know, obviously,
Exactly.
I'm not gonna ask him if in between belts he had his own students, because that's not expected. You know, it's expected to have your own students after brown belt. You know that you're allowed to instruct. You know, so it's like, oh, listen, did you have any students of your own after brown belt, after black belt? You know, it wouldn't be convenient to ask, hey, did you have any of your own students when you were a green belt? No. So I was pretty much a student myself at green belt still. That part.
Yeah,
We got Catarro City over here.
it happens.
For real. This weather sneaked up out of nowhere. I mean, obviously it's November, so we're not supposed to be having spring weather, but it sneaked up out of nowhere. Now everybody's sick. It's like crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I have the discipline of if I know I'm gonna blow my nose, I put the mic on mute. That's obvious, but not everybody really has what we would call
Com- common sense.
not it's not even common sense. It's called in Spanish etiqueta de locutor. You know, etiquette of someone that conducts himself on the radio. You know, they teach you how
Right,
to not breathe on the mic. You know, if you're gonna take a deep breath and the mic is close to you, to back away while you're taking the air, so it's not heard on the mic.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And these are things that I picked up on naturally just from being on the radio show um with El Difunto Huacal, Neti and Leo Vitini, Hotspot in San Pedro. So I picked up on these things there. And one of the owners of Radio Macori, a very rich San Pedro man, you know, fair skin. He told me, "Oh, Pedro, I like your voice on the radio. You know, you're very direct. You know, your voice has feeling. Like you can feel what you're saying. Like people can envision what you're saying." And I was like, thank you for your input. You know, and you know, he taught me a few tricks of the trade. You know, whenever you're on the mic, try not to do this, do that, da 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 da. You know, whenever possible, if you need to rephrase a word, like how I said earlier, I had a confrontation with the police department, and a guy said that, "Oh, I was vagina." That's not what he said. He used the other word.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's like it's a good thing that you use that. Like for example, like there was a guy who was recording like a 13-year-old, and he was talking about the virus, right? So
Okay.
instead of him actually saying the whole thing, he made up a whole word, and a lot of people were laughing at the young boy. They was like, "Oh, this guy don't know what the heck he's saying or anything like that."
Huh.
But what people don't know as a content creator, especially for YouTube and other websites, is that if you say a certain phrase or a word, that could demonetize and shut down your whole operation.
Yeah, there's a
So
trigger
therefore,
word.
that's exactly.
Yeah, you gotta be able to provide content that's not insensitive towards certain ears. You know what I'm saying, if you have a show that's directed towards family, it needs to the language and everything needs to stay family oriented. If you have a show that's directed to adults, then obviously adult language can be used. But even certain adult language is omitted or not accepted. You know, if you're an adult, you're supposed to keep it moral, period. I don't see the purpose of an adult going on a show just to be cursing. For that, go to the mirror and curse in the mirror.
Yeah,
Like, honestly. And that lack of maturity is not going to stand over here. So, like I said, these are just tips of the trade that, that fellow taught me. You know, always be sensitive on the radio, not sensitive to feelings, but sensitive to how words are being conducted because people listen to these words and it could guide them for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're saying a good word on the air, someone hears it, and that's the word that they needed. And now all of a sudden they're pushing forward and they're uplifting.
yes.
So it goes from there.
You know,
Yeah, pretty much.
and let's see. Another question I have to ask you: as a practitioner,
Here we are.
what what would you want in the as the future of the martial arts worldwide? What I mean worldwide is that what legacy in the future would you like the martial arts to be seen in?
I want martial arts to be seen as something natural that should be part of everyone's day-to-day culture. Because martial arts is not just it's not just a one-sided theme. Martial arts is not just a self-defense system. Martial arts is also um, a system of relaxation. It's also a system of a self-awareness. It's also a system of exercise. It's a system that it keeps your mind and body in condition. It would be great for most people to see the age of 80 still strong and built with the muscle density that they had when they were still 20, 30, because they conditioned their body, and their body is this solid weapon, as opposed to you don't do anything in life, and by the time you hit 40, 50, 60 years old, you're looking like an accordion because there's no real discipline in you.
Hmm.
You know? In most cases, like, people that bump into me will be like, "Oh yeah, hey, the fat dude," and they don't understand that the fat dude has discipline. The fat dude, this fat guy is not just a fat guy. I don't walk around slumped. I don't walk around looking like an accordion. Like, I'm pretty solid for my stature. My arms are solid. My legs are solid. I hit pretty hard. I don't want to hit nothing. And that's thanks to the training. The more you train, the more conditioned your body will get. The better conditioning your body has, the longer your body will last, because it doesn't have to do so much when it needs to clean. That's where people don't understand how their health deteriorates. We have something in our body system called enzymes. You're only born with a certain amount of enzymes, and these enzymes start to deteriorate every time it has to heal you and cleanse you. It starts to go down slowly, slowly, slowly. Once those enzymes are over and your body can't heal itself no more, that's when all these cancers start to come out. Oh, cancer of this, cancer of that. The body can't heal itself no more. So now you're developing something that the next person has to say, "Oh, if we cut it out now, you might be fine." Okay, what if you cut it out now and I'm not fine?
Right.
And you just made a cut into my body, so now I just cut 5, 7 years of my life.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I mean, martial arts, man. The one system that's a multi-system. Kyokushin, the father system of Seido, Kyokushin practitioners don't just do the martial arts stuff; they also lift weights, even if it's a little bit.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know, just like there's some systems that they tell the kids to go practice dancing, practice ballet, practice this, practice that, and it all ends up working in benefit with the martial arts because you're teaching your body how to be limber, how to move, how to be coordinated, how to be balanced, and all that helps when it comes to speed, power, and focus. You don't just throw a punch like a crazy person. Your punch is aimed, precise. It's not just coming out with speed, but when it lands, it has power behind it. All these philosophies and concepts come together to unite as one and make the system what it is. That's why every aspect of the system is important. You can't just be someone
Yes.
who practices karate and all you know how to do is punch, because then you're a boxer. You can't be someone
Exactly.
who practices karate and all you know how to do is kick, because then you're kind of more of a taekwondo person. You're not
Right.
punching. Everything is necessary and needed. You know, there's certain things that you can block with your hand. There's certain things you can block with your feet. Something that you could block with a kick from further away from you than from closer is more beneficial. Let's say someone's trying to lunge a stab at you with a 24-inch blade. If you grab them with your wrist, it might be effective, but those 2 feet of blade may have punctured or gotten close enough to you to hurt you. As opposed to
Yep.
you were able to kick the wrist, because your foot hit the wrist, the blade is nowhere close to your stomach or your chest or nothing like that. So at that
Right.
moment, it might be more effective for you to kick that person's weapon away. Because if you try to do it with your hand, the blade will be too close to your chest area. You know what I'm saying? All these are things that are you need the martial artist thinks about without having to think about it because he already practiced it while he was beginning, going up. This is why there's levels. Pretty much, brother. Pretty much.
I hear you.
But personally, on my side, I will have to wrap it up.
I know. Me too as well.
Got to take care of a
You
few
know.
things. I'm gonna be talking to Master Master Santana tomorrow
All
morning.
right.
Um, I'm a I'm gonna need you, like you said earlier. You're gonna make a link. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna use that link to help him um, get comfortable with the logging in and the logging out.
All right.
And we'll definitely talk tomorrow because I'm gonna probably not make a 3-way call, but talk to him and have you present while I'm talking to him, so that you're in sync with what we're talking about. And then on
Yes.
Friday we get this interview going, and it's gonna be epic, brother. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Like always, my last words will always be blessings to the listeners, followers, viewers, people that like, comment, share these videos. Come see these videos later on. Share the videos forward. Um, keep at it. Stay blessed. Stay focused. Stay vigilant. Don't stop training. Don't stop practicing. The moment you stop moving is the moment you're going to stop moving. So keep your hands up. Keep your chin tight. And always remember to keep your eyes focused on the person in front of you. Because if you look to a different way, You're about to get sucker punched. Us.
Us.
Blessings, brother. So, talk to you soon.
Blessings. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Yep. So that's it. That's open topics with Don Armando, the martial arts edition. Feel free to check us out on Friday, the special edition with the highly revered Maestro Apon. I hope you all have a beautiful night. I pray for all your safety. Amen.